Hello everybody, and I am actually today in the Minneapolis airport, which sucks. Now I have a 4.5 hour layover, which, well, it doesn't suck actually. It's not that bad because I can get food and stuff.
I love food and stuff. It's where I buy all of my food and most of my stuff.
So for those of you who don't know, I'm actually on my way to Hamburg, Germany right now. Before I head off to London to go to get my master's. This is just because I save so much money I can do fun stuff now. I've actually even created a playlist of all the fun stuff I've been able to do because I've saved so much money, which you can go see in the description down below. You know what I just realized? There's no Wi-Fi here. Which means that I'm probably just going to have to post and edit this after I find Wi-Fi. Sometime. One that I just realized again that nobody's actually going to be able to see this video until I post it when I have Wi-Fi, so all of this information is irrelevant to you. Today we're going to be talking about how to pass a CLEP exam, which I will break into 3 separate parts. Oh wait, I'm going to Germany. 3 separate parts. Before the test, the day of the test, and during the test. 3. Alright, so first, before the test. I always recommend studying no more than a week and a half before a test. Unless, of course, you're taking the language exams, then I would probably put a little bit more time in, probably months. The reason why I typically say 1.5 weeks is because if you go too long, you start forgetting things that you did at the beginning, especially when it's material that you're just learning to take this test and then be done with. For me personally, I actually worked out a schedule that would work for me best, which was every week I would study Sunday night through Thursday, and then I would take my test on Friday, and then take Saturday, and then most of Sunday off, which I was actually able to maintain for about 4 months, and then football season. The other reason why I recommend studying this way is because it's actually a lot easier to do so in general, because if you feel a necessity to take a break, you can take it, but if you're halfway through a test, if it's Wednesday, and you want to take a break, you just decide, okay, I'm going to take these last 2 days, study, and take my test on Friday. If I don't pass, I don't pass. Also, when you study this way, you can actually take a couple weeks off here and there pretty easily. Now, what to study with specifically, I recommend other channels, other things specifically, one of which is study.com. I made a video about that. Also, if you want to just ask me about a certain test that you want to take, I can make a playlist from the best YouTube videos to study for with these sources on that topic, and then just leave it on there. I already have a few on there already, so you're welcome. But yeah, just leave me a comment about any questions you might have. I can try to make a video on it and answer it. I could also make a playlist for you guys on a test that you might be studying for to help you out. Secondly, the day of the test. I personally find it very important to take the test first thing after you wake up. Yeah, but I would recommend scheduling your test not to wake up super early at like 6 a.m., but just let yourself sleep in. Schedule your test for 9, 10 o'clock. Or for me, 1 o'clock. Something I want to highly recommend as well, I would make a checklist of all the tests that you have to take for your actual exam. And so what I would do every single day before I took my test, I would go over to my CLEP checklist and I point out, here's a picture actually, I'll put up a picture of my checklist, and I point out the test I'm taking, I'd say, your next bitch. Sounds weird, but believe me, it works. Also, a big key to this too is absolutely do not stress about this. To be honest, every single time I ever tried to stress before a test, I never passed. So, and to be weary too, I only passed 70% of all of my tests. Just so you know as well, if you absolutely need to test, my retake pass rate is 100%. So don't feel stressed, don't feel worried, you'll be absolutely fine if you don't pass, you can retake it and you're probably going to pass. Also, if you're going to do a lot of tests, I would recommend going to the exact same testing center every single time. The biggest reason for this is because my first few times that I actually ended up taking tests, I did it at the same testing center, and it took me an hour sometimes to get in. One time it took me 2.5 hours before just waiting in the waiting room to get into my test, but eventually I became friends with a girl named Mickey who worked there, and she would just let me in. Also, while you're waiting, don't study. It'll stress you out, and you're going to be thinking too much about the topic, and by the time you get to the end of the test, you're not going to be wanting to think, and you're going to be tired from it. Just don't study, just go in, feel good, and take the test. Also, please don't try to cheat, because they take away all of your stuff before you go in. They take your phone, they take your wallet, they take everything. and you have to put it in a locker, and then they swipe your whole body. And if you get caught cheating, you get kicked out, and you're not allowed to take tests anymore, which is not even worth it. Just go in, pass. If you can't pass, then fail and take it again. It's not a big deal. It's $80. It's not like you're paying $15,000 for it. And once you're in the actual testing center, they're going to give you a few sheets of paper and a few pencils. No matter what, use these. Also, don't bring a calculator if you're taking a math exam, because they're just going to take the calculator from you because you have to use this stupid little calculator on the math exams, which is total bullshit. Back to those pencils and papers. Definitely 100% use them, and what I would recommend using them for is I would write down A, B, C, D, E on all of them, and anytime you have a question that you want to answer, just eliminate the retarded ones. For example, who is going to win Super Bowl 52? A, the Jacksonville Jaguars, B, the San Francisco Homosexuals, C, the Denver Broncos, D, the Boston Red Sox, and E, all of the above. Well, immediately you can remove E because you can't have multiple teams win one Super Bowl. Also, you could probably remove A because it's the Jaguars, and then you can also remove D because, well, that's baseball, and then you can remove B because you realize that's not actually a football team, and then you get left with C, the Denver Broncos. Now, of course, this is a bit of hyperbole on my part, but in reality, some of the questions are this stupid that things just don't connect whatsoever. I remember one of the questions I had was who was the leader of Germany during World War II? But also other times you get harder ones. So what I would recommend is when you get the harder ones is to cross off on those sheets of paper which ones you know aren't the case, and if you get left with two options, then you have a 50-50 shot as opposed to a 20-20, 20-20, 20 shot. Remember, passing is a 70%, not 100%, so if you don't know an answer to one of them for whatever reason, just click a random one and go on. It's better to do it that way because you're going to want to focus more energy and more effort onto the ones that you will know. So I hope this helped you guys. This is more or less just kind of my opinion on everything. You can change it, you can change it completely, you could just ignore everything I say. Also, if you enjoyed this video, if you could just please like and subscribe. It's absolutely free to do so. Just brings me more attention, which I love. Also, if you're not that stingy and you want to pay a little money for some great information that'll help you, I'd recommend going and checking out my book, The 1-Year Diploma, which is on Amazon. I also have the link in the description. It is starting to sell pretty well at this point because it is coming up in the Reader's Choice Awards at the moment, which will be, I'll find out if I won on September 1st, which I'll probably update you guys with as well. And I'll probably be boarding my plane relatively, okay, not soon. Not soon at all, actually. Probably another 4 hours. So I guess I will edit then. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you soon.